Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Public Affair. Of course, before we get started, I want to thank you guys again so much for all the love and support of the show. I truly appreciate you guys. You're definitely the GOATs, and I very, very much appreciate the community and everybody else that supports this podcast for as long as it's been running, so thank you guys again so much. Of course, thank you to Rogue Media Network with Mike Hamilton, my girl Allison out there, always making my episodes look super duper snackish. Before we get started with this guest that I have been begging to come onto The Public Affair since it started, I definitely want to give a shout out to a few of our sponsors of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to you by my boy Joe Olvero for Brothers Constructions. He provides custom home designs and renovations. He also focuses on roofing, remodeling, plumbing, tree removal, electrical work, and so much more. So if you guys need any of that work done, of course you're going to call my boy Joe Olvero with his whole team of snacks that are going to make your house look super snackish. I can't wait for them to make me that hot shower that I'm dying to have as soon as I buy my house. Joe, thank you so much with Four Brothers Construction for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to my boy Frank Biza with B&J Refinishing. He focuses on resurfacing bathtubs, counters, sinks, tiles, and more to original showroom quality. Offers 5-year warranty on most work and has the best prices in town. And of course, we all know that Frank doesn't stop there. Truly, truly, truly an entrepreneur. He also has Co-Town Tint, which is a mobile tint and detailing business that offers the best high-quality film and products and will be all competitor prices. Frank doesn't stop there because you can also contact Frank for inflatables, like a mechanical bull, which I've definitely got to ride, a margarita machine, tables, chairs, a foam machine, and so much more. Frank does everything, including making your parties super lit. Frank Biza, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. I truly appreciate you both. To my boy Sid Rodriguez with Elite Barber Shop. He's located on Hewitt Drive. You can download the Cut app or call the number on the screen to book. Make sure you also book with Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, D-Rod, and Isaac. Isaac actually cleaned me up today, and it looked like a super snack. First time he put hands on my head. I know that sounds very inappropriate when I say that, but it's true. And so thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair Elite Barbershop. I truly appreciate you. Of course, the David Santabanez, the #1 sales agent in his office at Alinea Real Estate. He'll help you buy a home or sell your home. Make sure you follow him on Facebook at David with Alinea, or call the number on the screen, darling, for all your real estate needs. Every time I log on Facebook, David's selling a house. Okay, David, get your life, bro. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. And of course, I can't go on without thanking Miss Anika Armstrong with Pee-wee's Crab Cakes on the go. I had the second line tacos the other day, and they were freaking scrumptious. They're serving the most authentic Cajun cuisine with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. The top recommended is their southern fried catfish special, served with seafood, pasta, and potato salad, and 6 fried shrimp. Fish is topped with who dat sauce. I had it over the weekend. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you have to go over there. 108 Jim Drive in Hewitt. You can order online at orderpeeweescrabcakesonthego.com. Anika, thank you so much. Best of luck with Pee-wee's Crab Cakes on the Go. I highly recommend it, and it's absolutely delicious. Thank you for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. All right, guys, so like I said, I have been asking this person to come on the show, I think since the show started. He was very highly requested by a lot of his peers, a lot of people, you know, outside of the peership and stuff like that, if that's the correct term. I don't know. He's also the brother of one of our past guests, Miss Denise Baltazar. I would finally like to welcome without further ado, and thank goodness for coming on almost a year and a half later, Mr. Misael Trevino, or Misa the Barber. How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for coming on the show. I mean, damn. I think, honestly, we've been asking for quite a while. You've been really highly requested by a lot of your peers, a lot of people that you cut hair from. And, you know, of course, I had my, the first barbers I had to have was, of course, my barber, Sid Rodriguez, with Elite, because they sponsor the show as well. And then, I swear to God, right after that, it was like, well, do you know Misa? Well, what about Misa? And Misa this, and Misa that. I was like, I don't fucking know him. Like, I don't know him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does that feel that you've been so highly requested?
It makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't know I was, you know, like whenever you told me, I was like,
yeah, that's what they said. And I was like, is he just like not, like, I don't understand, you know? Yeah, most people are begging to be on this show now these days. Like, I'm not trying to sound no type of way, but now they're hitting me up in my DMs. And like, while they're sliding in my DMs, I'm sliding in your DMs. It's like, well, hurry the fuck up and come on the show, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me on.
No, well, thank you for real, for freaking finally coming on. You know, again, like I said, it was since the beginning when I started the public affair last July. And, you know, a lot of my friends get their haircut by you, including, of course, Jay, of course, Morrow, Israel, Rico, Jacob, the list goes on. All of them at least once have said, when are you going to get Misa on the public affair? And I was like, damn, okay, fine. And then when you finally did it, I was really nervous that you were going to cancel. Like, we canceled last week, but it was Thanksgiving, so it's nothing, right? Okay, so I understood. But like today, I was like telling my friend Mom, I was like, just fucking call him, like, just make sure, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's just that I'm like more on the low key side, you know. So I'm not more like I just stay down.
Which is hard to believe. I had your sister on the show, and she was lively, you know.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, like, she's probably like me too, but like once you get her, like, she gets comfortable with you, you know what I'm saying? She'll start.
I will say she was another one that was highly requested when I did have her on the show. Yeah. And I remember announcing her, and everybody was so excited because they were like tagging her. Yeah. It's like a weird thing. Like, everybody was tagging her, but then everybody was messaging me about you. You know what I mean? Like, nobody would tag Misa the Barber. I also want to use this opportunity real quick to give a shout out to, of course, Christian Mendez at King's. I've asked him to come on the show as well, which was cute because I think when I first met you, I went and talked to him, and then he was like, well, all the barbers have to be on the show with me.
Yeah, he's more like down to earth too, you know what I'm saying? He's like more chill, low key, you know what I'm saying? But he does a lot for the community though. Like, I appreciate him a lot for I dragged a little bit, like, getting my license, like, because I cut at the house for the longest.
Right.
He would always tell me, like, man, go get your license, you know what I'm saying? There's so much money out here at the barbershop, you know what I'm saying? You need to come join the team. And it was his persistence that was always, like, behind me, you know what I'm saying? And since I was, like, whenever I first started picking up the clippers, like, his haircuts were already, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was trying to be, like, kind of like him. I kind of looked up to him and Gio and Matt, all those people that are already popping. So I was like, man, that was my motivation. Whenever he started cutting my hair, we would just talk about like things like just like trying to get better and trying to expand ourselves and stuff like that. So now that I'm finally there, it's like it's different, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different...
It's a different dynamic, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. I will say, even my barber, Sid, was like, hey, Christian would be a good one, too. But once again, and Christian, the invite is open. As you can see, we probably can't fit all the barbers in here. You know what I mean? But one thing at a time, you know? So, okay, I finally got the Misa. There's one other guy who I can't say who it is, but he knows who he fucking is. I've been begging him to come on the show. And then, of course, when I get Frankie J on the show, I can die in peace. So, I mean, I've checked you off the list. Thank you so much. Anyway, about my bullshit talking. Okay, let's introduce you. Let's get to know Misa the Barber. Let's get to know Misael Trevino. Can you introduce yourself to us? Tell us a little bit about your life growing up and stuff like that for us, please.
Okay, so I grew up basically just like, I don't know how I could say it. It's like in a duplex with my cousins. So, I mean, we had
like you lived in one side and they lived on the other? Oh, okay.
It was like both of the houses were like 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, so it was like real small, you know what I'm saying? But we made it work, you know what I'm saying?
That
like my parents like just made it work, you know what I'm saying? However they could. It wasn't until like around middle school age whenever we finally were able to move into a better, like a bigger house and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I picked up the clippers probably like around 6th, 7th grade.
Oh, really?
Like 2006, 2007.
Oh, you were young, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like around 14, 15 years old. And man, like, the only reason was because I never really went to the barbershops as a younger kid. My mom had kind of like, well, it comes down to my grandpa in Mexico.
Right.
He cuts hair over there, and I guess my mom kind of picked it up a little bit. Like she wouldn't do fades or nothing like that. But she had like the basic tools, like little Walmart clipper.
But she was cutting her hairs, wasn't she?
So I mean, she would cut me, my brothers, my dads, and some of my uncles. You know, so I mean, whenever I started seeing like my peers in middle school having like haircuts and stuff like that, I was like, man, my mom has some stuff at the house. You know, so I started YouTubing.
Right.
So I started like every day, just started messing with my hair. I mean, I'm not gonna.
Were you cutting your
Yeah, I was cutting my own hair because at first I was like I was kind of scared to like mess somebody else's hair up. So I was like, man, let me just practice on my own. So I started doing that for years, probably like 2-3 years passed by until one of my closest friends, he was like, man, you've been doing it for a minute, and I mean, I've been noticing you getting better.
Okay.
So he's like, just do it on me, like it'll grow back anyways. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do nothing crazy or whatever. So I started off with that, and it just like slowly but surely, man, it just started growing from another person to another person.
Okay.
Like, my younger cousins and stuff like that, they would let me cut their hair.
Right.
Just and whenever we would go to Mexico, let me practice on them. And
just, so the main source of inspiration was from your mother who was cutting hair.
Yeah,
she wasn't
from my grandpa. Like Well, like whenever I was little, like ever since we were little, every time we would go to Mexico, he would always cut our hair.
Okay, gotcha.
So I mean, from him, you know what I'm saying, I started seeing that from I was like real little, and then my mom would cut my hair too. And on the cool, like I'll be real honest to you, like I never really thought this was gonna be my career.
Really?
Like, I thought like I just was gonna like have a regular job, like a warehouse job or something, like my dad would always have, and then just kind of cut hair on the side whenever one of my friends, family would need a haircut or something, you hook them up or whatever. But I mean, it just started going from one customer to another, and just friends, family, and their friends and their family.
Right.
And it just blew up, thank God. And
for sure.
The good thing is that I actually like enjoy doing it. So it's like whenever I go to work, I go to work, but it's not really work because
it's very much like a family.
Yeah, you can tell like it's like the days go by so quick, like work days. You know what I'm saying? Before, whenever I would work like a regular job, like I'd just keep on looking at the time and stuff. It's like, man, time's not advancing. But over here, by the time you know it, I go in. It's lunchtime. After lunchtime, it just zooms by. It's like, damn.
Do you even get a lunchtime as a barber? I imagine it being really hard.
I mean, me, the way I have my system now, I have like an app to where I can have like the hours that I have available. So I just block off like from 2:30, 3:30, say.
Is it the Cut app?
It's called the Square app.
The Square app. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's basically similar to that same systems.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I make myself a lunch because if not, man, it's just all day. I wouldn't get the time. Like I take it as a lunch to get something to eat, and then also like a little mental break.
For sure.
Physical break.
We all need those. Listen, at my full-time job, sometimes I just walk out of the office and go walk around because
get some air.
I just need some air. I need some time to breathe and get my. That's how I have great skin, Misa, because I don't stress out a lot. I want to talk to you a little bit more about your life growing up and stuff. So you were basically raised in a full family household, like it was your mom and your dad, and then so it's you and your sister. Do you guys have other siblings as well?
My oldest brother, he was a big influence in my life as well.
Oh, really?
Just the way he was, you know what I'm saying? He carried himself, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I learned quite a lot of things from him too as well. So
is he still around? What was his name?
Yeah, well, he recently moved about like 2-3 years ago or something like that. He got married, and his wife stays in, and her family stays over there, Bryan College Station area.
Oh, yeah.
So he moved over there.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, we don't get to see him as much, but, you know what I'm saying,
he might as well come on the show since I got all the Trevinos and stuff on the show, right? It's so cute to think that, like, okay, so when I had your sister on, she's obviously very ripped, you know what I mean? And she loves to work out. I've been to one of her classes, looks really intense, you know? And then I look at you, and obviously you work out too, but...
Try to.
Yeah, you know?
When I have some time.
Yeah, and then, you mentioned how, and I want to touch on this a little bit later, but you didn't even see yourself as a barber. You were kind of regulating yourself to like, I'm going to have a warehouse job, and that's it. You know what I mean? And
because I mean that's what I kind of see my dad grow as I was growing up. I mean, of course I looked up to my dad. So I was like, man, I mean that's all I would see him doing. You know what I'm saying? His warehouse jobs, and I mean I was like, if he maintained his family doing that, I mean I'm pretty sure I'll be able to too as well.
What you're saying. Okay.
So I mean, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like just God has little plans for everybody, you know. So it's like, this was meant to be. So
my dad has always had warehouse jobs too, but Misa, I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't be working in a warehouse.
Yeah, I'm saying like as technology and the days advance, you know what I'm saying, just different opportunities, there's so many ways to like make money nowadays. It's crazy, you know.
It's ridiculous,
so, if you're not making money these days, it's just being lazy.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Go out and get it. You know?
It's so great too. Like, I mean, obviously, like I created this podcast, and then like, you know, you become this barber. Your sister is this really workout guru that's very popular and stuff. So you're right. You make a really good point when you say that everybody's sitting around not making any money. I'm not donating $1 anymore. Fuck that. Okay. No, but it sounds like you guys grew up in a pretty healthy like family.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, grew up real like in a Christian household. You know what I'm saying? So
do I need to watch my mouth, Misa? We good?
It'd be cool, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna watch my mouth. Yeah, I did it for Pastor G. I didn't curse one time on that show. You saw that, right?
Okay.
And I didn't make any sexual innuendo jokes. If I can do it for Pastor G, I can do it for me. So I'm not trying to ruin this. Hey, let's talk about you becoming a barber. Okay, so you did get to touch on that a little bit, how you were inspired a lot by your grandpa and stuff. And then you mentioned that you were a teenager when you started cutting hair. So you cut your hair first, okay? Mm-hmm. How did that turn out? Was it a hot mess express?
Man, it was bad at first, not even gonna lie to you. There's sometimes that I would just go in there like, I'll just touch it up a little bit, but I end up coming out with like a whole, have to buzz it off, and just because I was like, let me just do a little bit right here, and then like mistakes here and there, and I'll just have to go higher or go whatever. So, I mean, it wasn't the best at first, but not gonna lie, like after two years, it started getting better, you know, so.
After 2 years?
After a year, you know, you start seeing progress.
Like if I'm messing up for
whenever I'm actually comfortable, you know what I'm saying, with it, like, because, I mean, I'm not going to lie, like, I would see YouTube videos, and so my expectation was high, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I'm trying to get to their level, you know? But, I mean, it's easier said than done, you know? You got to practice, and you got to just have that mindset, like, it's easier to get discouraged than to keep going, you know, because you see all the mess ups, or you're like, man, like, I just can't get this right at first, you know? But you just got to keep on striving to just keep on trying to get it right, you know what I'm saying?
And I always say, too, because, like, I mean, obviously you have to learn how to crawl before you can walk, or before you can run. But, you know, when it comes to, like, haircuts, and I've talked about this with the other barbers, I've had a number of barbers on the public affair, you know, I always talk about, like, when you mess up a haircut, right, you can't redo it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, when did you first, you mentioned it was your friend, right, who let you do it the first. Did you mess him up, too, or...
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say I didn't.
Right, but because how do you like say, okay, but you know what, I'm gonna keep doing this? You know,
I mean, because at the same time, like the first haircut, I can remember it for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's like I took an hour and a half to almost 2 hours. We had to like take breaks because it was like, man, bro, like I gotta get up. Like my back and my butt starting to hurt from sitting down. So I was like, and then I would just like in between, I would just keep on watching the videos and just. You know, but yeah, it was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I started sweating and everything, because I mean, the way, I'm not gonna lie, like, he did tell me, like, man, it'll grow back, make me feel confident, but at the same time, I knew how it was with his hair. He was kind of like that, picky, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted, like,
well, and then your name is on the line too, though, because somebody can say, well, it was Misa.
At the same time, I mean, that was whenever I was first starting, so not a lot of people knew that I would cut hair. You know, I kind of kept it on the down low, because at the same time, whenever I first kind of started, like I told you, I didn't really envision myself being a barber. Like, I wasn't trying to get my name out there right away. So it was whenever I started seeing that the haircuts would start to look all right, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell your homie, tell your cousins, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If they want a haircut, let me know. But that was like probably halfway to whenever I was almost out of high school.
Okay, gotcha. So
around 2010, 2012.
Is that when you graduated high school in 2012?
12.
Where'd you go? We didn't even shout out your campus.
I went to Waco High.
Okay. So North Waco, is that where you're from?
Yeah, basically, that duplex house was like around the deeper side of the north side.
Okay. I almost bought a house on McFerrin once. It was a really cute blue house. You know where McFerrin is? Yeah.
Is that over there kind of like by MacArthur?
By Edna Park.
Yeah,
you could see the park when you walk out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, but then that didn't work. I talked about it last episode. But anyway, when did you make the decision to like, okay, I'm going to go to barber school? I remember you saying that there was a lot of people like motivating you. And when did you make the decision to say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do now? And were you working at a warehouse prior?
Man, all right. So prior to that, I graduated 2012, and then I got myself like a little just fast food job. And so I was doing that, and then whenever I would get off, I would cut hair.
Like at people's house?
Well, I'll go to my house. I had everything set up, and I would have my little appointments, you know what I'm saying? Let's say I'll get off like at 4.
Yeah.
I'd set it up from like 5 to like 9 or 10. Because that's whenever I had people, but not that many, you know what I'm saying? So I'll get off and cut their hair and stuff, but they started like just, because at first I was like, if you're going to work with my schedule, you know, I'll work. And then I was one of the people that kind of knew everything, so they would put me everywhere. So they started like just keeping me longer or just not working with my schedule. So 2014, I was like, man, let's see how this barber stuff does, because, this fast food is just like messing up my schedule. I'd rather be cutting. That's whenever I started like getting better and stuff. So I was like, started having a little bit more and more people around 2014. So I went ahead and did just full-time barber. I was like, man, let me just see how this does.
Right.
And man, it like from whenever I started letting people know like I'll be available morning, afternoon, and stuff like that, they started hitting me up a little bit more. More people started hitting me up, and I started getting a little bit better. And, just getting more out there and starting getting more busy. So, man, the opportunity to go to barber school, shout out to Zach over there at Madison Barber School.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he came out, like, I would just procrastinate. I'm like, man, sometimes I'm bad at procrastinating.
For sure.
Real bad. I gotta work on that. But, he actually reached out to me. He was like, hey, man, I'm about to, I remember it was a Christmas, probably like 2020, 2019 around there. It was around Christmas time. And he called me up. He was like, hey, man, like around March, I'm going to open up a barber school.
Okay.
Like, I've heard about you, you know what I'm saying? I've seen your cuts and stuff. So he's like, I'd really appreciate if you come and check us out, you know what I'm saying? Be a part of the team.
Which school is that again? Remind me?
Madison Barber School.
Madison Barber School, yeah. I should have known that, yeah.
Yeah, so whenever I went over there, man, whenever I met him and stuff, we just automatically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Click, he was cool. He was cool. He worked with me, you know what I'm saying? And we just hit it off from there, and it was a quick process, you know.
Right.
Probably a 9-month process. What helped me was that at first, whenever I first started going to barber school, it was like a requirement of like 1,500 hours.
Sheesh.
So
sounds like a lot.
Yeah. So like halfway down though, they cut it down to I think 1,000 hours.
Okay.
So I already almost had most of that already out the way.
Right.
So whenever they did that, it just like just advanced me a little bit. So. By the end of that year, I want to say, last probably December or the second week of this year. Right. I did my last test or whatever, so finally got like my barber's license, and as soon as I passed my last test, man, I hit up Christian. Yeah. And he was like, man, whenever you want to start, you're ready. You know what I'm saying?
He's have a chair now.
Yeah. He's been waiting. I mean, he's been having that chair waiting for
That's
me.
That's gotta be such a great feeling. Man, yeah.
You know, I can't tell you how appreciative I am of Christian. You know.
Yeah.
So.
The tongue twister. I was. Yeah. When you said it. No. Yeah. That's gotta be a really great feeling. You know, and as far as your journey in barber school goes, you know, you mentioned that it was at Madison. I can remember when I met Sid, another guy, Zay, was cutting my hair at the time. Yeah. Did you know him?
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
Zay Cabral, we're still good friends. We don't see each other, but we're still really good friends. And he was cutting my hair at the barber school, and I just remember always it being like a circus in that school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be like that sometimes, but I mean, I like the atmosphere though. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's always like. Alive, you know what I'm saying? People always wanted to get better.
Yeah, so, you know, like when I was mentioning that it was a circus and stuff like that, you know, surely, you know, you guys are in school, you're learning, you know what I mean? You mentioned, like, probably by this time you had probably been cutting hair for close to, almost 10 years, you know what I mean? By the time you get, the transition, because it was like, you were 14, how old are you now?
I'm 27.
You're 27, you had to think about that one. Yeah, so, you know, so you were probably like, around 24, so about 10 years when you went to the barber school. Did you ever have to deal with, like, the people, surely you messed up. You know what I mean? And I can remember, God, when I went to the school to get my haircut with Zay and them, I remember like people would complain about the haircuts. Yeah. They were $5 haircuts and they were students, but the teachers were relentless. You know what I mean?
No, but at the same time, like the teacher would tell them, like, man, this is a barber school.
They check them,
It's not like a barber shop. You know, like it's okay, like going to a barber shop and not getting the right haircut. Like I understand you being mad.
Right.
Or upset, but it's like if you go into a barber school, you should already expect. Like you shouldn't. Your expectations shouldn't be that high.
Right.
Like, it's student barbers, you know, like people trying to. I mean, I understand some people like are at a different level whenever they hit barber school. Some people are already ready to hit the barber shop.
Yeah.
But others, they're still on that learning, you know what I'm saying, trying to get that learning curve down, you know, and trying to get better. And
well, and I had Zay had cut my hair prior to barber school because he would do it in his house. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I liked it. And, he was starting off, so it was like, we'd be there, like you mentioned earlier, it'd be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah. I'm like, Zay, I really gotta plan this, you know? Yeah, sure. But no, and with time they get better and stuff. But I just remember that being like, every time I went, I felt like I was like a sore thumb sticking out, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it was just like the atmosphere was so different, but it was always those people complaining. I'm like, I had the idea of like, okay, I know that he might mess me up. It's a freaking school. I can't say nothing. It was a $10 haircut, not even. You know what I mean? Sure. So, even when you did get your license though, and then you started you went from school to King's, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get your first client or your first haircut or whatever, do you still mess up? You know what I mean? Like, cause listen, like, even to this, like at Elite Barbershop, so Isaac Chavez cut my hair. He's just he didn't cut it, he just like freshened me up or whatever. Yeah. I still get nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
every time somebody else. Anytime somebody else that you're not accustomed to, because it's crazy. It's like there could be some good barbers out there, but once you get used to a certain style that a person leaves you, like your barber like does your
it's so weird.
It could be different details, small details, but it's like you go to somebody else, they can do an amazing job, but it's like it's just not what you're accustomed to, you know what I'm saying? So it could be a nice piece of work,
right,
but it's like just not what you're accustomed to. So it's like, man, I'd rather go with that person that I'm more comfortable with, or like that already knows. Like you go to the same person and you don't even have to tell them like, hey, just. Most of the time, whenever I get my repeat customers, same time. Yeah. Same thing like last time. Or?
That's how I'm with Sid. But when I went to New York, I went to shout out Augie's in New York. What's it? It's not in Mastic. Is it Mastic? I can't remember. It's in Long Island. But every time I go to Long Island, I go to Augie's Barbershop in Augie's. Yeah. And, I just assumed that they knew what I wanted, because it's like you said, you get accustomed to the same barber over and over. You just sit down.
No, just same thing.
Yeah,
it's like whenever you go somewhere else, it's like you gotta kind of explain them. Like
he did the complete New York haircut on me, and I was like, that is not what I wanted. You chop out my hair. You can't do anything, and then the part is all the way like to the side and stuff, and I'm like, what the heck, man? But I meant to ask too, as far as building clients for you, okay? Because you're young, and then a lot of people, you seem like like you mentioned earlier, you're a lot more introverted, okay? Mm-hmm. So how did Misa build clients? Was it all just word of mouth, like my boy Misa's cutting, like, how did that work out for you? Was it hard? Were you nervous because you had a job?
Yeah, what really helped me a lot was playing soccer.
Oh,
playing soccer, man, that got me a lot of
clients.
You
played soccer?
Yeah,
okay.
I played soccer. Well, really since I was like, especially whenever we're in that duplex, we stayed with my cousins. Yeah. So in the back, we would always just,
soccer.
Hey, we would knock on each other's door like, hey, are you available? Come outside, so let's go kick the ball real quick, or go to a park, or. So I stayed in soccer, and so that helped me out. Like once I started cutting hair good, I would tell homies, and most of the time it'd be like most of the people on the soccer team will get haircuts by me. So that'll be. My work would just speak for itself. Okay. Like, man, I cut his hair, his hair.
Wow.
Just look at his hair.
Yeah.
And so
it's cute.
So I got a lot of that from there, but also just family from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would take their cousins, they would take their friends, or their friends would it was just a lot, and then just a lot of from word of mouth too, that just people would co-workers, they would send their like. A lot of people tell me, like my coworker would tell me like where I got my haircut from, so I gave him your number. Right. So I grew a lot like that. It just a lot of different things. Social media kind of helped a lot. Posting pictures.
For sure.
They would see that and they would hit me up.
I feel like what a great source of like promotion. You know what I mean? It's social media. I didn't know you played soccer. For some reason or another, when I started the public affair, I'd become heavily involved with the soccer community. Yeah. I don't know how that happened. I thought I was going to get more DMs, and now I just go to soccer games and sponsor soccer teams. I sponsor the SoCo soccer team.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had the guy.
Friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had the guys on the show. Okay, and we talked about it. And it's so crazy watching a soccer game unfold in front of you because everybody's best friends. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we're gonna play, and then you get the game, right? And everybody starts wanting to fight with each other, and then everybody, your mom is this, your mom is that, and I'm like, what the heck? And they're just like, do you miss those days?
Yeah, man, I do, man. It's
do you get to play? You don't get to play, or?
Now I haven't played because probably about like let's say a year and a half to 2 years ago. I injured my knee. I had a torn meniscus and a torn ACL, which I still haven't got surgery for. So I just been kind of like batting that off too as well. Just because it doesn't really bother me as the only way it will probably bother me is like if I'm actually like playing and like, trying to do some strenuous stuff, you know.
Don't wait too long, because I said the same thing about a tooth that broke in half.
The doctor told me that too. He's like, I'd rather you do physical therapy whenever you're younger than when you're older, because it's gonna be easier for you to recover right now that you're young. So I plan on getting it done. It's just,
get it taken care of. How does a barber get? Like, do you have to buy your own private insurance? Like, is that
basically.
Like, or Kings is not just giving out insurance.
Yeah, or if you have like a significant other that has insurance through their job, you know what I'm saying, you can.
That's why,
get it like that.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to find my man, so he could just be on my insurance. Hello, you know what I mean? You don't have to have no papers, no English, or nothing. You just come over here, I got you. You know what I'm talking about? No,
but for the most part, it's like once you're a barber, you have to kind of like have
everything's fun for yourself.
Yeah, it's like you don't get no benefits. You know what I'm saying? You don't get no 401k. You don't have no vacation hours. Barber is, I mean, it has a lot of good things to it. It's like you can make your own schedule. You're your own boss. You get to decide when you come in, when you leave.
Right.
Vacation time, you could take as much as you want, but take a note that if you're not cutting, you're not making money. So it's like you gotta, you know what I'm saying, watch for all that.
How do you manage? I mean, you have a family, like you have kids and stuff like that. So how does Misa do that if it doesn't come with it, you know? Yeah, like a lot of us watching too are spoiled with the full-time job that does offer that. Yeah. You know?
So I mean, little by little, I just ask a lot of my customers, you know what I'm saying, like here and there. That's another thing about barbering is like you get to know a lot of people. So it's like little things here and there. I get connects here and there, like insurance here, insurance there, and just like little side notes that people tell me, hey, do this, do that, you know what I'm saying? Life hacks here and there. So just try to little by little.
You know what? I made this really funny post the other day because I was on my phone when I was getting my hair cut, right? And there's a lot of things on my phone that I just don't need people seeing. Especially not Sid. He doesn't want to see the photo gallery on my phone. And so, you know, I always wonder, like, you guys as barbers, hairstylists, the cosmetologists of the world, the nail people and all that, you guys probably hear so many different kinds of stories. And there's something about sitting in a barber chair where everybody just spills their guts. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, especially if you've been going to the barber for a long time. You get comfortable with them, and sometimes, man, it's just like therapy. You'd be surprised how many people or of my clients that I've had before, especially whenever I was at the house and say it was more one-on-one.
Right.
A lot of people, it would be like more personal time, especially how I would do my appointments. I would really just, you know what I'm saying, everybody had their spot. I wouldn't have too many people inside, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people would like just pour their hearts out.
Why do you think that is though? Like what? Like
sometimes you just as guys you just don't realize it sometimes that I mean we have feelings too. You know.
For sure. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks I'm gay for saying that.
Nah, man. It's like,
it's just true.
A lot of people think that just because you're guys, like you gotta be the tough guy. And like, nah, it's like I mean we have feelings just like everybody else and. Sometimes you just gotta just unwind, you know, and sometimes you don't have that person, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might not have that friend, that family member to be there, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm so
sometimes,
happy that you said that,
especially like I have some clients that even come to me twice, once a week, every 2 weeks. So it's like
I'm gonna give you part 2 next week. And
it's like, man, it's you'd be surprised how many people just start getting comfortable with you. And I mean, different people are different people, you know. Right. But me personally, once somebody tells me some personal stuff, like I don't really like to.
Well, outside the personal stuff, have you ever heard so many really crazy stories? And you know,
you hear of everything.
Like what? Share. We want to know.
I might want to keep that on the down low.
Keep it on the down low?
But like
that's how I keep my men on the down low too. I get it, Misa. I get it. Okay.
But everything from crazy, weird, funny. Just
that's how you know barbers are loyal too, though, because they don't tell your secrets. You know, I used to get my hair cut drunk. Sid does not let me drink on the chair anymore. I did. Most recently when my radio career ended, and I remember just like confiding in him. I don't know how that happened, but I was like, Sid, it's ending. Like I'm gonna quit. Like I have to quit. Like whatever. And I just start crying on the chair like a little girl. He goes, bro, I know you're not crying on my chair. He said that, and I was like, Sid, it's just like, it's really hard right now. I don't know what to do. Yeah. But, you know, obviously then he gives you the words of encouragement. It's just, sure. it's just always like weird. Like, listen, you guys are in charge of making us look like snacks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is about you that we just have to pour our hearts and souls out to you too.
Talking
you know?
about that too, man. Like, I feel like, man, nowadays, just going through this, kind of like through this break, especially like, you know how if you work at a regular job, you know what I'm saying, you want to get holiday pay or, you know what I'm saying, or that holiday week off or whatever. So it's like, man, like, we're charging like $25, $30 for a haircut, you know, and like, to me, a lot of people kind of like, well, I mean, you have your, not trying to target the people that are fine for paying that, you know, but you have other people to where it's like, man, like, why are you charging so much for a haircut? It's just a haircut.
I wanted to ask you about that.
I'm like, man, like, you go out and you spend on one night on alcohol or whatever, like hundreds of dollars sometimes, and that lasts one night, and you feeling like crap the next day. It's like, man, we put our time into the haircuts and stuff, and have you looking like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? However, you know,
you can say snack. That's not gay. Like, you can say that.
Like, we try to have you looking fresh. You know what I'm saying? The freshest.
Okay.
So it's like, and some people are so like unappreciative.
Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, not my clients in personal, but I've had like a couple walk-ins or whatever, and they're like so unappreciative of like the work sometimes. I mean, it's rare whenever it happens. Yeah. But like, I have had like here and there like one or two. So
if there's nothing that I've learned, it's that you're gonna pay for what you get.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like I've seen that haircuts have gone up to about $30, like standard.
And that's like right here. I say like in the small towns. You go anywhere like Houston.
Oh, I saw somebody
Dallas.
post on Austin that they're charging like $80.
Yeah.
But listen, you can't put a price on beauty. Like, I'll pay whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Once you get that one person that kind of like just has you right, like sometimes you don't like they don't care. Like, I have a lot of like most of my clients, like I want to say more than 90%, 95%. They're like, it doesn't matter how much you charge, I'm still gonna come. Like, just let me know how much you're charging.
Absolutely.
And I'll still support
especially during the holidays too, right? I mean,
especially.
Yeah.
I mean, you have just like one out of like 500. You know what I'm saying? For sure. It's just like, I think
the same thing goes for working out too, Misa, because everybody doesn't want to charge, like, they don't want to pay like $80, $200 for a gym membership or something like that. But you'll go, like you said, you'll spend that in one night drinking and which, okay, let's not do the tacos. You know what I mean? But you know, but facts though. You know what I mean? And like I said, like,
you end up regretting it the next day. Like, man, why did I spend so much money?
Exactly.
And I feel like crap now. So
Judge Judy always says, beauty fades and dumb is forever. So, you know, my beauty's gonna fade, and if I have to pay you $100, you know what I mean?
Gotta keep up with that.
I did want to touch a little bit on the prices, because I don't remember it being $30 when I was younger.
Whenever I first started, man, haircuts were like $5-7.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but as the time went by, it's like just not only, well, I would say probably a big majority of the why the prices changed was because of the tools that we use now. Oh, they're a little bit more expensive now.
Really? Okay.
They used to be like, man, like you could get a good clipper for like $70-$80. Now they're like $200.
Oh, really?
You know, I mean, granted that you don't have to buy them as often, but still, like, little things, the other little things like that you have to keep on using, like razors, neck strips, all the other things. So that all adds up. And then not only that, what we charge for is also like our time, the time that we use during the haircut, and just the time that we take out of our day. A lot of people, they're like, hey, you know what I'm saying, squeeze me in. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a little extra, because if there's nothing available, like they go on the schedule and they're like, there's nothing available, but if you can get me in, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and then now this
person
has to wait.
Or either that, or I'll just be like, well, what I started doing now is like, I'll charge you a little extra for after hours. You know, if you want to keep me open a little bit longer, a little bit more time away from my family, is going to cost you a little bit more. Yeah. So, because I mean, a lot of people, they feel like, sometimes I feel like they feel that we're robots. It's like, man, like, you do this, so it's like you're gonna be there all the time. You should be available whenever I need you. And like, it's like, man, we have families too, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
We have our life of our own that we have to kind of accommodate to as well. So.
And in a way, you're kind of your own boss. You know what I mean? So you get to make those rules. Yeah,
basically.
For sure.
So I mean, most people are cool with it. You know, they understand. Like I said, just one out of those 100, 200 people that are like, oh, no, I'll just see what I can do, see somebody else can do it.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
What's absolutely no excuses for you? Like I'm not cutting hair. Like, you know what I mean? Like today. Like, what's a good excuse for you? Like holidays, maybe. Like
family would be one. Like, let's say like my daughter's sick or something, can't go to school and needs a babysitter or whatever, or just things like that. Let's say just if it's important enough. Like, well, yeah, it probably have to be like family issue, or if I'm sick, like to where I just can't cut hair, like bad. Like sometimes I'll be like kind of feeling sick a little bit, but not like having symptoms bad. I'll try to like take medicine, kind of like calm the symptoms down and go in, you know. But nowadays I feel like you can't even do that. Sometimes you cough a little bit, sneeze a little bit. Oh yeah. And you're like,
everybody wanna assume,
what's wrong with you?
Don't worry about it. Mind your business.
Should I put a mask on? Or, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, I just tell them if it makes you feel more comfortable, go ahead. But I mean, like it'll have to be like something, because I take my job pretty serious. Right. My availability very serious. If I don't have to cancel, or if I try not to cancel as much as I can. Right. But I mean, if I absolutely have to, if it's the last thing, I hate to do it. But I mean, it's just.
What's the most you've ever had to like charge somebody? I mean, surely you've had like house calls and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not really too much of a big charger. Like, I mean, most of the time, like lately, I've been doing, or like, I'm not gonna say his name or whatever, but he's been having me out cutting his little boys hair. Okay. You know, I mean, I don't ask for too much, you know what I'm saying? I'll just charge him, let's say like I charge, it's just for his little kid. Yeah. So I charge like 20, I'll just charge him like an extra 10. But I mean, he'll bless my game, you know, so.
You know, are we, school me on here. Are we supposed to tip barbers, or what you guys charge? Like, well, how does that work? Like, is what you charge what you said is how much?
I feel like the prices that a barber is charging should automatically include the tip. Okay. Yeah, and then because not everybody can tip, you know. Right. So it's like, I mean, and a lot of people just have different perspectives on it. Right. But me personally, I feel like if you're like, oh man, this dude didn't tip me, or you know what I'm saying, like, like if you're having that kind of mindset, might as well just set your prices to where you're comfortable, to where even if he tips or not, you're still comfortable.
Hello,
you know. So I mean, that's why I recently started going up. Honestly, I'm also thinking about going up just a little bit more, just because. The way things are going, gas going up, and just everything, just not only just like the barber supplies that we have to keep on buying, purchasing, like just over and over. It's also like bills and just
how
everything.
Often do you have to like go through new supplies?
It just depends, different things. You know, razors you buy, I use 1 to 2 razors per haircut, so it's like you always got to stay stocked up. Aftershave. Neck strips that we use on every haircut, little capes here and there that you have to keep on. Those you can kind of wash and just kind of keep a couple of them. But it's just different things, you know. Blades from different machines, they wear down differently too. Right. So it's like for some shavers, they use a little bit more. They go more on the skin. So it's
now like you can't buy the $70 ones.
You gotta buy the expensive ones. It's like it feels good to whenever like all your machines are running good and like your work is coming out nice and your customer gets a nice like satisfying cut where it's like just smooth. You know, like that's what speaks of your work the most. That's what people are gonna be talking about you the most. Like man, like. Because you go to some barbers and they're like, oh man, the haircut came out nice, but like either like bit me a little bit, the machine kind of rough on me, and they don't have their blades a little bit.
Now. They're all coming. Do you ever have those people that after you're done cutting hair, like they take your clippers and then like fix something themselves?
I mean,
like has that ever happened to you? I saw somebody do that one time. I thought that was so.
I haven't had that somebody have that happen to me, but sometimes man, I be getting those picky customers to where like, oh, do this, do that, everything little perfect. I'm like, man, it's like, man, do you want to grab my clippers and just do it yourself?
Oh wow,
it's like that picky. Like,
how do you stay patient?
I'm pretty good at that, just because I mean I learned a lot from just working at other little fast food restaurants, like customer service, you know? No, so, but like I just try to be as professional as I can. Right. I know, man, I've heard of other stories to where it's like, I mean, you get to a point, especially let's say you've been there for a long time, and let's say that like the last cut of the day, just real picky. It's like, man, you kind of don't feel like dealing with it, but at the same time, you got to be as professional as you can, you know? Like maybe whenever he's gone, like, man, dude, that dude was picky as heck, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, we kind of know what the job consists of, and sometimes you're gonna have those, and so sometimes you have your customers that they don't even need the mirror to look at the mirror. They're like, man, I'm good.
You're good. Yeah, I trust you. You know, and then I even watched some barbers like cutting little kids' hair and stuff.
Oh man, that's another thing that I would like to touch on.
Let's do it.
Like, man, a lot of people, they're like, man, why are you charging so much for kids' haircut? Like, man, that like, in my point of view, I'm like, man, we should charge probably even double for haircut for kids, because I mean, sometimes you do have your kids to where they sit still through the whole haircut, but man, you have other kids that just like so interactive, like just always moving, and like especially for us to do those little fine lines that kind of make the haircut pop. Yeah, it's hard to do those, especially because they're just moving. Even if it's just like a little bit, like, man, sometimes you could just, it could be just something that one time I was just doing fine little details, and then he moves, and then I like take a chunk of his hair off.
No.
Like, bro, I was basically already done. I was just doing the fine, and we had to do a whole nother haircut.
I was gonna say, but what do you do at that point? Because it's like, well, listen, your son kept moving.
Yeah, most of the time the parent is there, so it's like it sucks, but sometimes it's like, hey man, like I was just doing the little fine details already, and your son moved, so
do they get mad with you, or do they get mad with the son?
I don't feel like they could get mad at either, because it's like, it's natural. You can't just have a kid sitting in a chair for like a long amount of time without them moving at all. Like sometimes you do have your kids that just sit still already. Once they get to that age, like 5, 6 years old, they already kind of get it. Okay. But once, like in between like 2, 3, 4 years old, sometimes they move a little bit more than expected. But I mean, it's just things that and that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes like they're like, oh, it's just a little head. Why don't you just charge like $15, $20 for their haircut? It's like, man, it's the same exact details that I do on your haircut. I have to do it on his. For sure. You know, the only thing is probably they don't have any facial hair that we'd have to worry about. But all the other details that I still have to take my time on it. Oh yeah. Just unless you just want me to rush through it, like you want a $15 haircut, then I'll show you a $15 haircut. But it's like, even the kids, you know, sometimes like I have them looking like so fresh that they're like, man, who cut their hair? And sometimes they, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like some barbers have more patience than others, you know. Oh yeah, like, for sure. But I mean, who's to blame them? You know, sometimes you just, as a barber, you just want to go in and just be able to do your work, and you know, it just kind of makes our work a little harder. Because I mean, speaking for myself, I want every haircut that I do, I want it to come out nice and clean. You know, so it's like whenever it's like kind of things in the way, especially him moving or not being able to put their head a certain way. Sometimes they don't, you know what I'm saying, listen too much. And but
no, I got you. You know what? God, this is so great. I'm really happy that you're here. Okay, so, you know, I want to talk to you about, you know, there's so many barbershops in town. There's so many barbers, this and that. And then, you know, you're getting out of school, you're getting whatever. How do you choose? I mean, obviously you said you had a really close relationship with Christian Mendez. Yeah. Brain fart. Christian Mendez. And, you know, and he had a chair for you and everything. How do you choose like kings over a different barbershop? Do you know what I mean?
Man, my situation was so unique to where I kind of established that situation with him so early on that we already had that, you know what I'm saying?
It's like a thing. Like,
yeah, it was like, I was like, I already had my mindset. Like, I didn't even think about, like, no offense to any of the other barbershops. All the other barbershops are cool, you know what I'm saying?
I love them all.
They're all no competition or nothing. A lot of people think that it's like competition between barbershops. Like, man, like, no matter if it was like just us at the, like, there's not enough barbers still, like in Waco for us to get all, especially like, I want to say holidays, you know, like everybody's trying to get haircuts. So it's like there's still not enough barbershops in Waco to get everybody that we can, you know, so it's like, but yeah, I would say my situation on that would be different since me and him had that
like an understanding.
Yeah, an understanding. Like like so I really didn't even think about like, man, should I go try this barbershop? Like I was already had my mind set on Kings.
Do you think that, like, and I asked this just in general because I don't know, like I've watched barbers come in and out of Elite Barbershop, and then, like, you know, even my friends, they started at one barbershop, went to another, and then I think that's what you did. I don't remember, but it was 3 years ago. But you know, like, do you think that where you're cutting hair affects like the clientele that you're building and stuff like that?
Yeah,
which I love Kings, and shout out to everybody there. Yeah, that is
that's a good point. also, like, let's say I had one barber buddy that said that he was working at a certain spot, but it was like most of his clientele was basically, it was too far for his clientele. Like they would have to do a drive. So it's like, man, I have to find another barbershop where, nothing against the barbershop that he was at. It was just the location kind of didn't fit his clientele. Okay. So he's like, man, I have to do something to kind of like fit my clientele, because slowly but surely he was starting to lose, you know what I'm saying? So, but once he moved, he started gaining all those, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, sometimes, I mean, but yeah, it does, like, you could tell, like, kind of, I've talked to barbers from other barbershops, and they're like, yeah, depending on what area you're at, it's like, well, the walk-ins, you know? Okay. For the most part, let's say that you already have your regulars. For sure. Most of the time, they'll still kind of come to you or whatever, but
like, oh, that guy cuts there, so I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember somebody mentioning something similar about that too. Like, oh, well, this barbershop plays like this type of music, and that's not like the crowd that we're appealing to and stuff. And how do you handle like when a client like leaves you? Has that ever happened? Like, or like when I've had to do that, and I
first I would kind of like I wouldn't say like get in my feelings, but I take it to heart, because I'm like, man, I worked hard. Like, I don't know what I did wrong, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it be little things here and there. It could be like pricing or whatever. But at the same time, man, there's so many, well, I'm not trying to boast or nothing, but there's like so many clients that I have nowadays that is like so many people still, once my schedule fills up, I still have people like, hey man, let me know if something opens. So it's like,
that's good though.
So it's overflowing right now. So
that means you're in.
Yeah. Thank God for work, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Thank God for that. So it's like sometimes I mean, sometimes I even lose people just because they can't get in. You know, it's like, man, you're just always busy. But the way I have that system set up, is like first come, first serves. Oh yeah. So it's like, if you can't get in that day, just go ahead and just book your next one for next week. You know, it's just like they always just wait last minute. They're like,
with Sid, dude, I have to book my haircuts in a month.
Yeah, I have some customers that like right now that the holidays already coming up. Like I have people that already like have their appointment set up for Christmas.
Yeah.
But
I think I got an appointment up to January. Like screw that.
Yeah, some people like if they like going every week, like they'll just set it up for like a month straight. Yeah. That way they don't have to worry about setting an appointment. Sure. They already have their set appointment.
No, that's what everybody watching this episode. I want to say that because I saw somebody post on Facebook about that like earlier, and like it's very important that when you do get a barber like Misa, like say like whoever you choose, I think it's very important to book more than one haircut at a time. You guys make it very accessible these days, where you can literally go on your phone and set an appointment. I don't even have to call you. You know what I mean?
Well, that's, man, I'm so glad my barber instructor, basically Zach, would be the one that would tell me like, man, do you use this app? And at first I was just doing it by hand, you know, like as you would like send me a text message like, hey, what do you have available for this day? And I'll tell them like, but it was a lot of back and forth, because sometimes it was like, I have this available, where they're like, oh, well, I can't make it at this time. What about this day? Okay. So even on my days off, whenever I'd be Sunday and Monday off, I would tell them those would be the days that like to hit me up. They'll be like, what would be a good time to hit you up? So I'd tell them those days, but I ended up messing myself up because the whole day I'd be like texting back and forth and not have time to do anything else. So once I started doing that, some customers, since I already kind of like the way I did my system back then, if you already came every week at the same time, I would just keep on
have you in,
have you in there. So a lot of people they were getting spoiled by that, you know. Right. So it's like, man, I don't even have to hit them up. Gosh. So, but whenever I started doing that system to where it was like first come first serve, you have to put yourself in there. In the system, a lot of people are like, man, somebody took my spot, you know. I'm like, hey, man, it's first come first serve. It's like, at first I was kind of skeptic. I was like, man, I'm gonna lose some people, but everybody, they understood, like, man, you gotta do what you gotta do for your business. I think it's a fair system. Yeah, it's a fair system. For me, it's more fair, because I mean, you got people hitting me up, like, hey, 2 weeks from now, can you put me down at this time? And I'm like, man, somebody already has that spot. They're like, man, how do they already have that spot? It's like, I'm hitting you up 2-3 weeks in advance. So, but those people, most of the time, if you hit me up around that time, like 2-3 weeks in advance, I'll try to do whatever. Like, even if I have to stay open a little later, you know.
I'm not giving up my spot. I booked out a month. No, I'm not. I booked out a month in advance. Too bad. All right.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like sometimes I need to go up on my prices, because it's like people, especially for people that have like their set time already, like they don't even have to worry about like, I mean, at the same time though, as long as they come, you know, we're still making that
Right. I really, but and then what I appreciated like about the barbershop that I go to at Elite is that I trust everybody to put hands on my head over there. You know what I mean? I feel like you have to, because sometimes Sid is busy, and then sometimes Sid wants to squeeze somebody, and I'll do this. I'll be like, Sid, yes, like that's fine. You know what I mean? And then like, well, can so and so cut your hair? Can Chris or Isaac, whoever, Santos? Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes it's important to like make those types of other like backups. You know what I mean? But keep it. Gosh, there's just so much that I could freaking ask you, especially when it goes like, you mentioned competition and how you really don't see. I had somebody else on the show too that talked about, there's not enough heads, like you mentioned earlier, in Waco for all of us. You know what I mean? Have you ever found yourself in a situation though where somebody was trying to trump over you?
What do you mean?
Like that somebody was trying to like I'm better than Misa. You know what I mean? Like
I don't really take that. Even if they could say that all they want. Yeah. I mean, I'm confident enough in my work to where it's like, I mean, I'm never the person to say like, because I mean, I don't know what each and everybody kind of went through to get through. I went through my own little phase to where I was kind of like at some point like kind of discouraged. Like, man, should I stop? Is this really the thing for me?
For sure.
So it's like everybody has their thing. So I don't know. I don't want to discourage somebody saying, "Oh, I'm better than you" or whatever. So it's like everybody has their time to where whatever it is, like even though it might not look like whatever, like everybody has their style, like for the person that did it, it might be fresh, and for somebody else it might not. But that's just opinions, sure. Like you gotta be just confident in your own work and the way you. Sometimes, man, on the cool, I also wanted to touch on this.
Yeah, touch on whatever you want. We're good. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not really about the outcome of the haircut. Sometimes, like how we said earlier, like sometimes it's just like you just want to talk to somebody, like you just feel comfortable with that person that you just want to just chill, like talk to even if it could be like just like other barbers too in the shop, just just chop it up with them and just have a good, nice little conversation, kind of. Keep your mind away from the regular things, just for like those 30 minutes to an hour you have at the barbershop, like just kind of like clear your mind and just have yourself a nice little beer while you get a haircut or whatever, whatever it might be, just get away from that and just, man, sometimes they don't even care. Like a haircut's a haircut to a lot of people. For sure. But some people, like how I said, they have their little pickiness to their little... Or whatever,
it's like we mentioned earlier. There's something about being in that chair that just makes you feel like there's like a sense of comfort,
For real, man. So I mean, but like how you were saying earlier, like if somebody was to ever say like oh, I think I'm better than you, like, oh man, go ahead, like I mean, I got my own thing going on, you got your own thing going on.
Listen, work speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
so I mean,
your work ethic speaks for itself. I was just talking to my George. Yeah, you know him. You call him George or Jay? I call him Jay. He was on the show.
Jay, I call him George, Jay, whatever.
We talked about it the other day about how your work ethics speak for themselves and this and that. Like I don't listen, like even when it comes to like this, you know what I mean? Because everybody's always, to this day, Misa, it's been 1.5 years since I started the public affair. And the people are constantly trying to pit me against other podcasts. And like, I don't know why.
Every podcast, we're really whatever. Like everything has their own style, that's what makes them unique,
That's it. And, and then, it's like you mentioned, like you're more focused on just you, like I'm more focused on just this, and shout out to everybody doing their thing, but there's enough room for all of us.
I already have enough on my plate. Why would I try to, what I'm saying?
I got too much to do. And then when I don't have nothing to do, I just really want to go and play Nintendo in my robe. That's it. Okay.
What I do is either I'm either at home with the family, or I'm playing video games too as well with some of my coworkers or just friends, clients even, just.
You guys are giving me FIFA vibes.
So it could be FIFA, Call of Duty, they could get it, whatever.
I play gangster games like Street Fighter and Pokemon, so please.
Okay.
We do have to wrap up here soon, but since you mentioned it, I did want to talk to you a little bit about your personal life and finding personal time, because as a barber, I'm sure you're in demand all the time. It's hard. Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you do when you're not cutting hair and stuff like that?
On Sundays, man, it's just my lazy day, really.
Okay.
Like,
you didn't want to book on a Sunday,
Yeah. Okay. Definitely Sundays for a long time has been a day that I really don't want to just. I kind of sometimes just put my phone on silent.
Okay.
Most of the time, just.
I need to do that.
Just kind of just leave my phone alone if it's having time with the family, my daughter.
Is that why it took you 8 hours to message me back yesterday?
Sometimes I just don't. Yeah, I mean, it might have been.
I was like, he's not messaging me. He's gonna cancel.
Yesterday, what was that?
Yesterday was Sunday.
I was on the way back from Mexico.
Oh Oh.
Yeah, I went to Mexico because my plan was originally just to take Thursday off, Thanksgiving, and then come back Friday and Saturday and cut.
You were in Mexico?
But yeah, last minute, we ended up going to Mexico and just...
He came to be on the public affair, guys. Okay, he came back.
So yeah, I was on the road, so that's probably why I didn't reply until I probably got back.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, Mauro did tell me that you were in Mexico. I was like, he's going to cancel. He's in Mexico. You know, I'm banned from Mexico. I can't go back. But...
For real?
Yeah. But I told you I was going to keep it cute on this one. I'm not going to. But go watch one of my prior episodes. I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you after the show. But okay, so you're a family man. You've got 3 kids?
I got a daughter.
Oh, a daughter. Oh, okay.
So she's 4. Well, she'll be 4 in January.
I didn't mean to assume that you just had 3 kids.
No, you
I didn't know. Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, if it's not that, I just try to Sundays I like watching football. Whenever it's football season, I like watching football. And then if it's not that, Saturdays in the afternoon I like watching like college football.
Okay, so you like the sports.
Yeah. The weekends also, like if I can, I'll go to some games, Baylor games, maybe basketball or football.
You know, real quick, because so you have a daughter. How old is your daughter?
She'll be 4 in January.
Okay, so do you find yourself missing a lot of things now because you're in high demand with your schedule and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say like a lot of things. Yeah, I do miss out on a lot because I am a high demand of that, but I try to make it to most things. Like if I know in advance, like let's say like school events coming up here and there, like I'll try to make time.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like if you're graduating from the DARE program, it's like, okay, but everybody does that.
Yeah. No, but if you're graduating high school, it's different. The bigger things, like for sure, I'll try to make that as much as I can.
And then she's only 4 too. And then I think it is good that you mentioned that on Sundays, which I really got to practice this. I'm turning my phone off on Sundays.
No, you got to sometimes just kind of like distract yourself. Or
but I live by myself. I don't have kids, so at least you get to stay busy with the daughter.
I'll say just whatever you find makes you happy or whatever, your happy time.
Oh,
whatever.
Misa, Nintendo.
Hey, if that's what works for you.
The robe and DoorDash is my just complete. Like everybody thinks that I'm all about the club.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get home. No, we're going to Vegas in a few days.
Yeah.
And I have every intention of just floating around in the pool. They can go to the strip club. They can go do whatever they want. I've been to Vegas 100 times.
Be the babysitter.
No, don't. I already told them. Don't put me in no situation. Well, by the time this episode comes back, we'll be back. But don't.
Okay. It should be a good time, though. I mean,
no, we're gonna have a great time. I'm excited, but I just have every intention of just being in the pool like
chilling.
This, just boobs out. Yeah, okay, so just you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, listen, Misa. Oh my God, can I just really express my thankfulness and gratitude for you finally making time to come onto the public affair. It truly means a lot. Best of luck to you in your career. Thank you and your daughter. Everything that you guys are doing. I'm definitely gonna. I had the Stones, they're a couple, episode 30. They said the same thing. They turn their phone off once a month and they don't let nobody bother them. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing that. Misa, what's next for you, man? Like, what can we expect going forward? So is this going to be your long-term career?
Man, I can only just let the time just do the talking.
For sure.
Really, things can change in a matter of seconds,
Yeah, they can.
So I mean, for the meantime, just trying to be the best barber that I can to my clients. To you know what I'm saying? Just I love that atmosphere right there at King's right now. We're all like brothers.
Okay.
So it's for now, man. I don't see the need to change anything.
Right.
So yeah, for now, I have had a couple opportunities. Like my barber instructor actually told me, like, man, you should get your license to be an instructor.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So I mean, maybe that might be something that I might look into in the future. Maybe like one day I'm like just get worn out of cutting hair, just being in the shop all day. But
I don't know if that was a burp or you.
But for now, man, it's just I love the because this is my first year in the barbershop, so it's like I'm barely experiencing the barbershop vibes. So it's like I don't all new to me.
As much as I've heard of you, they made it sound like you were a veteran barber.
I mean, technically, I've been doing this full time since 2014. So. Full-time, 10+ years.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So you are. You're a veteran barber. Yeah.
So, I guess you could say. It's just that I haven't been in the barbershop. So it's like...
Would you want to open your own shop?
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, what I was thinking of, maybe I was like, man, I would kind of like co-own, maybe. But I don't know how that would work. Because, I mean, I feel like that would be maybe like a... Yeah. I mean, I do see what Christian goes through, and
sure.
I feel like, man, that's a lot, you know?
Okay.
It's a lot of things that you have to worry about. If it's not, like, because for him, he has to worry about his barbering, and then at the same time, anything goes wrong in the barbershop, whatever it might be, from AC to lights, just any little thing, you know, it's a lot on his plate. So it's like maybe if somebody would be able to share those responsibilities, you know what I'm saying, it'd probably be easier.
Bro, you got you a good team. When I started this, I remember saying that, I'm just going to be on somebody else's podcast, and I'm so happy I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I had this great team with Rogue Media Network, and they be... they're on top of my shit. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
whatever makes your job easier, you know. Like that's right now, like, man, I'm happy where I'm at. Like I do get a lot of people telling me, like, man, one day you're gonna open up your own shop. And whatever. I'm like, man, if only you knew the half, you know.
That's it.
It definitely is some work to own a shop, but maybe you just never know. Maybe the opportunity comes one of these days, and we'll take it. But
you have
for now,
listen. At the end of the day, you have really good rapport with a lot of people in town because, like I said, your name did not stop coming up for over a year. And I want to
appreciate all those people too, man. Because I mean, like I said, man, whenever I was like in high school, I was just like chill. Like
regular,
nobody really like knew me, you know? Now, I mean, I did have my friends here and there, and now it's like, like some people hear my name, like, oh yeah,
I got you.
Or like sometimes even I'm going shopping or something.
Okay.
Like, hey, you remember me from high school? I'm like, yeah, I kind of do, but not to be rude or anything, but I don't remember your name now. That I like what I do now is like I gotta try to remember all these names, so it's like my memory.
You hate that? I hate that.
Yeah, I mean sometimes
I don't want to come off as bougie, but like a lot of people know me now too, and it's like
it's like like you don't remember their name. I try to. It's like I remember faces more than I do names. So it's like, man, I remember you. Whatever class we were in, whatever. I'll tell them like, from this class so and so, but it's like I just don't remember your name.
Bro, you have got a really good head on your shoulders. The Trevinos obviously are cut from a different cloth. You guys are also kind.
For sure.
Big shout out to your family for raising. I don't know the older brother, but I've met 2 of their kids, and you guys are beautiful. You guys are so kind. You guys are very humbled, and it's so refreshing to meet you, and it's so nice to have you on the show. So
really
thank you again
that.
so much. We can find Misa at King's Barbershop.
Sir.
Okay, you guys can, if you guys are in need of a barber, the Square app, whatever, you know what I mean? He takes walk-ins?
I mean...
Oh, wait, no, he don't take walk-ins. Stop it.
I mean, I do every now and then. It's just like, man, around this time, like around holidays, man, it's like everybody is trying to get in at the same time. So it's like, we'll try to get them in as...
Well, they'll do what they can.
Yeah, we do what we can. But, I mean, anybody there at King's, man, everybody's very talented, gifted there. So if anybody wants to just walk in, they'll get you right there at King's.
And big shout out to everybody at King's, too. They were all so kind to me, and so was Christian, and best of luck to all the success with all of you guys. And I really love, again, just we are going to wrap up, but one thing I really love about like you guys, especially the barbers that I had on this show, and everybody just really supports each other, which is like really cool.
It's
you know
a big
what
community,
I mean?
You know,
it is,
like, a lot of people, like how we said earlier, like they think that it's like competition, but nah, it's like
it's like dog eat dog.
Sometimes like if we can't get people in, we'll send people to other barbers. Like, hey, do you recommend any other barbershop? And we'll recommend another barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll tell them a couple of little barbershops. Like maybe they could, you know what I'm saying? Go visit them. So it's like it's never no enemies or just competition. Like it's all family. You know, like it's just not everybody can fit in one barbershop. So it's like we all kind of have to go to our own barbershops. But yeah, so
I got you. For sure. Well, Misa, thank you again, honestly, for finally coming onto the public affair. You had a good experience. It wasn't that bad, right? No, I told him I wouldn't bite.
I was just more nervous than anything just because I'm like more down to earth. I've never had this kind of like spotlight, you know? Like, so it's like.
You did A1.
Appreciate
you did
that.
A1 steak sauce. Okay, you did good. Yes, well, thank you guys again so much for tuning into this episode of The Public Affair. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Again, big shout out to Misa, the barber, for coming on, drinking his body armor. This was really good, by the way. I'm so happy that you didn't ask for alcohol because my last few episodes, they all wanted like Buchanan's and Patron, and I can't anymore, okay? Yeah. So before we end, I definitely want to give a shout out to a few more of our sponsors of The Public Affair. This episode is also brought to you by Banda's Hauling Service with Julian and Anna Banda. They rent dump trailers. You fill it up and they haul it away. They also do junk removal and tree brush removal and haul cars in and out of town, which I think is genius. Ooh, maybe they can haul my car to Vegas. That'd be perfect. Okay, book now with the number on the screen. Bandas Hauling Service. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Soko Soccer Academy with Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez. They're located on Franklin Drive. They offer team, small group, and individual skill training. They also specialize in soccer training with Dominic. I see all the kids. Ooh, put your daughter in Soko Soccer Academy. He's make her a star soccer player. Okay, yeah, for sure. Make sure you follow him on Facebook at Soko Soccer Academy and on Instagram at Soko Soccer 254. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Pollo Box and Audio, my boy Jeffrey Monreal, home for all your LED needs and auto accessories. He is the GOAT. He also focuses on installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also does building custom subwoofer enclosures and much more. He's definitely a jack of all trades. Your one-stop shop to get everything done in one roof. The reason why I did not go purchase a brand new car is because Jeffrey has given all the features to my car that I've ever wanted, including a backup camera, Apple Play car stereo, auto start, all of it. Now we just got to get it wrapped because it looks like a Hot Mess Express. Jeffrey, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. And of course, to Fat Boy Michelada and Botana, my boy Junior Banda. He provides the best Michelada and Botana plates for yourself or for a party. Locally operated, so make sure you get the best and not the rest. Make sure you follow them on Facebook at Fat Boy Michelada y Botana for the menu of array of great items that they have. If I said that right, tongue twister. Fat Boy Michelada and Botana, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Again, thank you guys so much again for all your love and support. You can definitely expect more of The Public Affair every single Monday. Make sure you guys stay tuned in. Once again, I got one guy checked off the list of the people that I really were highly requested and wanted. Misa, thank you for coming on to The Public Affair. The other ones, I'm coming for you. Frankie J, what's up? And don't forget, darling, to always keep it between us.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support and a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.